Everybody, how's everybody doing on today? I've been watching Justin Trudeau quite a bit. I do not know why it is so damn hard for this man to answer a simple question. This stupid idiot will talk 10 miles around any question that he's asked and not answer the question that was asked. Like, I don't know why anybody likes this dumb idiot. He's nothing but a traitor, he's a scammer, he's a criminal, and this asshole should be in prison for this. Anyways, enjoy the video, and hope everybody has a good day, and stay safe.
First question goes to the Leader of the Opposition, Mr. Scheer. Mr. Scheer.
Mr. Chair, the Prime Minister so badly wanted to win a seat on the United Nations Security Council. Promise in 2015. He spent the last 5 years selling out Canadian principles, cozying up to dictators and despots. He's even sent Canadian soldiers into harm's way to curry favor at the UN. Last night must have been a devastating blow to the Prime Minister. Simple question, was it worth it?
Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, Canadians always expect their country to step up on the world stage, and that's exactly what we've done over the past 5 years. With our engagement on fighting climate change, on peacekeeping, on advancing the cause of women's equality, on development assistance, and trade and economic growth, Canada has continued to engage in the world, and we will continue to engage constructively and positively in the world stage.
Mr. Scheer.
Except, Mr. Chair, that's not what he did. He remained silent when standing beside leaders of countries with terrible human rights records because he was afraid of offending them and losing their vote. That is his legacy in chasing this vanity project, Mr. Chair. The Prime Minister shook the hand of the Iranian Foreign Minister and even bowed just a month after that country's military shot down a plane with dozens of Canadians on it. So again, was it worth it?
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, I'll take no lessons on international engagement from a party that promised to cut foreign aid in the last election. Fortunately, Canadians didn't agree with them and has returned a government that continues to look at staying positive and engaged on the world stage. Yes, we have always stood up clearly and strongly for human rights, for our values, and we will continue to, even as we engage constructively around the world.
Mr. Scheer.
Mr. Speaker, this Prime Minister has sent billions of dollars of taxpayers' money to countries with economies more advanced than Canada's or led by dictators with terrible human rights records. That is his legacy. He's also turned his back on our friends and allies, voting in favor of one-sided anti-Israel resolutions at the United Nations in order to curry favor from countries who do not acknowledge Israel's right to exist. So again, was it worth it?
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, every step of the way we've continued to stand up strongly for Canadians' values and for Canadians' interests on the world stage. It is in our interest to see a more peaceful, more prosperous world in which everyone has a real and fair chance to succeed, and that's what we've been contributing to. On the question of Israel, we have stood strongly by Israel as a friend, but we have also expressed our concern about the annexation policy that they've put forward. These are issues that are complicated, but Canada will always stand true to its values and to our approach on the world stage.
Scheer. Speaker, this House voted to list the IRGC, the Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps, as a terrorist entity. This Prime Minister refused to take action and do that. He's also refused to impose any Magnitsky Act sanctions on human rights abusers around the world, all in an attempt to curry favor with those dictators and despots at the United Nations, selling out Canada's values in pursuit of this seat. Now he comes back empty-handed, coming in last. So again, was it worth it?
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, it is always worth it for Canada to step up on the world stage. It is always worth it for us to reach out and fight for things like fighting climate change, fight for things like women's equality, fight for things like protecting our oceans, fighting for opportunities for Canadians around the world and opportunities for the vulnerable around the world. Mr. Speaker, Canadians expect their government to step up on the world stage, and that's exactly what we did.
Mr. Scheer.
But that's not what he did, Mr. Speaker. You see, when he was in the same room as dictators and despots and leaders of countries with terrible records, he was silent. In fact, he stood right beside the president of Senegal when that president defended Senegal's laws making homosexuality a crime. The Prime Minister said nothing. He was silent. He's even using Canadian tax dollars to invest in oil and gas projects in other countries in order to win favor as well. So again, when we look at this government's record, when we look at his personal record on the world stage, our relationship with India has been damaged by his action. We have a worse trade deal than he inherited. He's angered with his erratic behavior, our partners in the Pacific area. And at the end of it, he came home empty-handed. Was it worth it?
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, Canada has continued to stand strong on the world stage, to engage with countries around the world in need of support, in need of economic opportunity. We have consistently stood up for our values, unlike the Conservatives that have slashed protection for the world's most vulnerable women by not funding reproductive rights and services around the world, by not standing up for LGBT communities. Canada has always stood up for progressive values on the world stage, and we will continue to, Mr. Speaker.